Hello, hello, hello. I'm going to be a little bit quiet because Shepherd is sleeping. It's a miracle. He's right in the next room, which is really just the next giant open doorway. So we've got to be very, very quiet because if we wake him, who knows? He learned to climb the stairs today. Ooh. So I learned to use all the baby gates. You know, it's a real learning situation. Hazel, I hear him. Do you hear me? Hazel.
Yeah.
I hear Shepherd. Okay. Today we are going to make these cool knit headbands, which on their own I am finding extremely comfortable and nice because I hate having little strands and string and hair in my face completely. So, but they're not just any old headbands. They are the cool ones to help with the mask. So we've got a button here and a button, we'll see if I can find it, over here. So you can wear your mask like that, not behind your ears. So I'm going to take this off. So, pretty cool. And they're really, really easy. So all of my girls who have been making scrunchies for all this time are going to be pros at this because it's basically making a scrunchie without the elastic. So, what material to use? I used old t-shirts. So, I happen to make, t-shirt quilts for people. So, I have a lot of random t-shirt scraps. Hey, buddy. Oh, you okay? Oh, no. Poor Shepherd. I don't know what's happening. Okay, so the best part of the t-shirt, I don't know if you can tell on this white one. See, that's the hem of the t-shirt. If you cut your strip, the direction of the hem, see how stretchy it is? That's going to give your best stretch. If I cut the strip the opposite way, long ways, it stretches a little bit, but I promise it's not going to stretch as much as this. So what you're going to do is you're just going to find the hem, start at the bottom of the t-shirt. That's going to give you the nice biggest surface anyway. And most likely, see, the print is at the top. So it's the best place to cut from. And you're going to cut a strip that is 8 inches wide, like this way, and 20 inches long. Now I read a lot of different things, and some said do it 18 inches and stuff like that. I made one, here's one that's 18 inches, and it would not fit around my head. So either I have a giant head or that's too small. So like I said, it is 8 inches by 20 inches. And you cut along that bottom seam, but see how I cut the hem off. So you just have a nice flat piece of material. And also, if you have a hole in it, or if it's too nubby, don't use that t-shirt. Use a better t-shirt. If you don't like them this thick, see this one I did 4 inches and it's a lot thinner. It'll work too. I like the thick one. So we take our strip and we're going to fold it. Hey, buddy, are you feeling better? He's better. Right in half, hot dog style, long ways. Mash it up the best you can. This knit material is pretty forgiving and it's a little wonky, and that's okay. So just kind of get your edge as close as you can. When you start sewing, we're going to do the scrunchie that leaves some open. So I'm going to start, see where I put this pin? About 2 inches from the end. And then when I get down to the bottom, let's find that, I'm going to stop about 2 inches from the end. So I'm just going to put a pin there so I know. So I don't go all the way to the bottom and I don't start all the way at the top. So, and that's going to help us put it together. So we'll put it on our machine. use just a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I guess my machine's not in the thing. I usually use a wide zigzag stitch when I sew knit, but this is real forgiving. A straight stitch will do. Sometimes I make my straight stitch longer than a normal stitch for knit, and it seems to allow that stretch a little bit more. Also, if your presser foot can like raise up a little bit, that helps with the knit, helps it glide under and not get bunchy sometimes. So I'm just gonna sew. All right, I'm gonna stop here because I've already got one done. And I've sewed, so see where I stopped a few inches from each end. And this is so easy, it's so exciting. Where's my thing? And now I'm gonna turn it right side out. I'm gonna have like a big tube. So I'm gonna put my safety pin in one corner and I'm gonna shove it through. Try to find a bigger safety pin than that, it'll be easier. And you're just gonna turn the whole thing right side out. And this was a really cool piece. So Judy, if you're looking, I bet you could recognize this t-shirt from your Harley stuff that I'm working on. Hopefully I have for you this week. And this was a piece of her sleeve that I cut off. So I just pieced those two together to make it long enough because I thought the tie-dye was pretty. So we'll see. Y'all, it rained here like crazy. Like just for maybe 5-10 minutes, a huge storm came through and knocked down a bunch of trees, and people don't have power all over the place. Frank doesn't have power to the plant, which is like 5 minutes up the road, but some reason we got lucky and we have power and nothing fell over. Not even our big dead tree in the back. Okay, so I've got it flipped right side out. And then I'm going to take the two ends, and see, this is why it was so important not to sew to the end, because this is how you're going to sew it up to make the loop. So I've got them, I'm going to match them up like this. So see, they're just matched up, right sides together, and then you can clip it, pin it if you like, put it under your machine, and zigzag those two ends together, and then you basically got your tube. So like I said, it's definitely my scrunchie makers out there. It is just like a scrunchie. Okay, so let me get to the end and I'll show you the last little part. Okay, so I've sewed that up, and then look, you've got yourself a loop. Now, there's two ways to close this opening. This is the part when if you were making a scrunchie, you'd put your elastic in there. But we're not. So I'm going to tuck all my strings inside. I am going to fold. Actually, first I'm going to open up my seam on the inside, fold it over, open up my seam on the other side, fold it in, and then match up those two seams and put a clip. And the reason I opened up those seams is so it's not as bulky when I'm sewing it together. Now, you could sew it by hand using a ladder stitch, which one day I should just make a video on that because it's kind of like an invisible closure stitch. Or if you are a little bit of a lazy seamstress like I can be, I'm going to just do a nice straight stitch on my sewing machine, because this right here is going to be on the back. It's going to be back here underneath your hair, so nobody's going to see it. I would match my thread, but then you can just put it right here and make your stitch a little bit longer. Right on the edge, just sew up that opening. Gotta kind of pick it up to get over that hump. Oh, it caught. And there you go. So now we're just about done. If you don't want to add the buttons, if you just want a headband, then you are done. See, you've just got yourself a nice headband. I think it looks better. See the seam here? If you kind of manipulate it to make that seam go on the inside, like that would be the part that touches the top of your head. And it kind of makes it kind of scrunchy and cool looking. This one, I didn't have as much material to make it as wide as the one I have on, but it'll still be cute. All right, so now to add the buttons, and this is from what I've read and people have been asking me, it's been very kind of painful and not cool behind your ears, the having to wear the mask so tightly for so long. So this is a really cool way to keep that off the back of their ears. So how you know to where to put the buttons. So this is the middle right here, the seam, right? So I'm going to kind of center that, make that the center of my thing. And then my button's going to go here and here, right there on this, on the two sides, kind of centered. I believe that it's easier, I don't know where my buttons went, but I'll just put a pin. It'll work better if you put the button, instead of putting the button right here in the middle, put the button on towards the side. So here I would put my button like right there. And then I would come kind of, try not to have a dyslexic moment, drag it down, and then put my other button on the same side over here. So let me put a pin so you can see what I mean. And you just sew the button on just regular, like you would sew a button onto anything else. However, not the button on top, because you don't want that knot on your head. You know, that would be annoying. And that's all. Very easy. You can get all kinds of fancy with these. If you twist them before you close them up together, it makes a cool little twist. You can add, like, maybe take another piece of fabric and make it a cute little bow that you can tie on top or something. There's like all kinds of ways to make them fancy. But for, oh, that would be kind of cute, just like that. For utility, that works for me. And you can see how the button's a little towards the side than in the middle. And that is that. So I hope y'all are doing well. Oh, I've got a sneak peek for anybody that's interested in doing my virtual classes that are going to start on Friday. So this is something that we're going to start with. So I'm really excited about it. It's pretty much exploiting my favorite Easter treat. And this is just one of the things that will be in the class for next week. And I've posted about it on my page. So go check it out if you're interested. Is that it? Come here, Shepherd. You gonna say hello? Poor Shepherd. He's having a tough day. Not really a tough day. He's just Shepherd. All right, you gonna say bye-bye? You say bye-bye? No bye-bye? Okay. We're done.